What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to episode 74 of the U.S.S. Enterprise D tutorial. I'm Zerelite, and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. And if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and helping me in supporting the channel. Today we've got about a 24-minute episode. We're going to be picking directly up where we left off yesterday. We just put our foundations in for our walls in the dead center of our mall, and today we're actually going to build in those walls. So without further ado, we're just going to hop right into this thing. And I need to grab a couple of blocks here so we can get this going. Looks like a gray hat. Okay, so let's just roll. So literally, we're not doing anything super difficult. We're just going off the current template that we have right now that we put in for the foundation for our walls. And we're just going to fill this in. And I'm telling you, this is going to be very helpful because this is going to help us gauge. It's going to do two things. We also need to put in our flooring here in the center. We're just going to do that in white concrete. But it's really the main thing for this is determining if we have enough space to walk around this. If we have to trim it down a little bit, we have to trim it down a little bit. That's fine. But we need to throw this up all the way to see how it is walking through. Now, if I remember correctly, I think we are going to actually end up tweaking it down the ends here because it looks like right here it's just a little bit narrow to walk around, but then when we get to the sides it's fine again. And for right now we're just going to do one high, and we're going to do this for all four sides on the main deck, and then the deck below we're going to do the same thing. And of course we also need to fill in our floor here in the center. Because we might be cutting into this, not necessarily the floor, but the wall, so we just need to have this filled in because even from the deck below us, you won't be able to see this because it will be filled in. No, this will really help us in gauging how our pathways are set and if we'll need to make any further adjustments to it. Now what I can tell you, oh, and this was the other thing too, that the main deck that we're on right now, the top deck, this is going to be the only, in the center anyway, this will be the only area that we have the shops in the mall. At least, I mean, on the center. We're still going to do around the sides and stuff, but what I'm saying is that the deck below us, we won't have any mall shops. Because that's basically submerged underwater, so that's going to be reserved for the viewing area for the aquarium. Now, I need to make a point to do this because I had somebody helping me out with the dolphins, trying to figure out why they didn't stay spawned, and I think a fix at one point was naming them, but I don't think that that's going to work. So probably in the next couple of days here, I'm going to be going on Google and just doing some research to see what I can find on that to stop the dolphins from despawning. Now, in a worst case scenario, let's say that we're not able to stop them from despawning. What I'll probably end up doing in that case, when I do the tour, I'll probably just spawn them in just so that they're here, which would be unfortunate if that's the case. But we may not have a choice in that regard. But I'm wondering if maybe we can tame them or something. I don't even know if they're tameable like the wolves are. Because like I said, I haven't really messed with the dolphins at all on here, so that's going to be something that I really want to look into because I really would like to have the dolphins on this ship because even though they weren't in Next Generation, they had the navigation dolphins, as ridiculous as that sounds. And they've officially made them canon within Star Trek with them being on lower decks. So, I mean, to be honest with you, I think that was hysterical when I found that out. When I saw the episode and they had the navigation dolphins, I'm like, this is just great because I was literally just talking about it in one of the episodes on my YouTube channel right before the Lower Decks episode drops. So that was pretty cool that they incorporated that. It was pretty funny, and I think that, you know, as outrageous as it is, you know, we're going to incorporate it just because it was on the ship. Okay, so we've got our flooring in here. We're going to have to get some lighting because on this lower deck, now that we put our ceilings up above us, it's going to get a little bit dark, but we'll cross that bridge once we get the walls up, because then we can develop the roof and the lighting and everything. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this in high contrast, so hopefully this won't be too dark for you. On my screen right now, I can see everything fine, but I do know for some people, sometimes even when it's at this lighting level, sometimes it can be kind of hard to see. I've been pretty good about lighting though, but hopefully nobody will have a problem with this as far as being able to see what we're doing. But to be honest with you, we're literally just repeating the same process that we did directly above us. So even if you can't fully see this, for whatever reason, if you're not able to watch it in a high resolution, we're just repeating the same process that we did directly above us. We're just doing it one deck below us now. Now, even though that, well, actually, no, you know what? I was actually completely wrong, because this second deck here, this is going to be another deck for shops. I'm getting my build, it's blurring together at this point. The format layout that we have right now, we're going to have a similar format for the aquarium viewing area. But we will have 2 decks in the dead center for the mall that'll be dedicated for the mall as well. I just kind of forgot about it. I think we're going to be grabbing some sea lanterns so we can get some lighting in here. See, this is great because even with just putting those couple of blocks down, you can really get a great sense now for how the layout is going to look, even more so with just the foundation there. And now at this point, it's just a matter of filling it in. Now, like I said, don't worry about the walkways, the lighting for them right now, because we are going to come back and adjust that. Yeah, I can already tell you right now that we're going to have to make a slight adjustment with the walkway that's going along the windows, because it is a tight walk. Because you want to, when the whole point of it is that we're walking through this area, we want to have enough room to have a facade for a shop or two, but also we don't want to sacrifice the walking area. You don't want to feel too confined, because Enterprise D, the corridors weren't super big, but at the same time they weren't small either. So you don't want to have, like, you know, a tiny rink-dink walkway to go through, but you can see what I mean as we get further down here. See this area right here, that's a little bit tight, really just that one block, but we can make an adjustment for that. We can definitely adjust that. This is pretty cool. We're finally starting to fill in this area of the ship that has just honestly been sitting barren now for the last 7 to 8 episodes of this part of the build. So it's pretty cool to finally start seeing all of this come together. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the reasons why I love playing on Minecraft, because we spent all this time working on the ship, and now it's really finally starting to come together, at least in this area. But, you know, this is what it takes when you're building these ships, you know. This isn't something that you can do in a rush. And well, no, I take that back. You can totally do this in a rush, but taking the time to do it this way is going to separate yourself from having a really fleshed out, detailed ship, as opposed to having a ship where it's just, it doesn't match what you saw in the show, even remotely. So that's kind of why I take my time with this, because we spent all this time building this out. You might as well take the extra care with the interior. The interior is just as important as your exterior, because if you're rolling on the outside of your ship and it looks like the Enterprise, That's one thing, but then you walk on the inside, and if you can't tell it's the Enterprise, maybe you've made a mistake or two. I see that all the time when I watch what other people have done on Minecraft. That that at the end of the day, they just don't take the time to develop the interior of their ship. And even there's some people I've seen that they take the time where they build some cool things, but it doesn't match with that era ship, and it just the design cues for the rooms they don't match what you'd see on the show. Now, even with this room, it all starts with the walkways. The first thing that we did, we put our walkways down, and the walkways has the same color pattern as it has going through the entire ship. That's going to be one of the many things that's going to help us to keep the flow of the ship intact as we're going room to room. You're not really going to see a variation on that unless you walk into a physical room itself. As far as the corridors go, all the corridors, the carpeting should match every single deck level to level. No matter where you are, the corridors, they should match. And even with your rooms, your crew quarters and things, the carpeting, whatever color we're going to set on, that's going to have to match room to room. But we're going to go over all that too, because I'm actually looking forward to when we actually get a chance to work on the crew quarters, because the crew quarters are kind of spacious on a Galaxy class. On the next generation, they'd have people on the Enterprise D for the first time, and they'd all say the same thing, like, man, this is a luxurious ship. Because a lot of the stuff that was on the Enterprise D was unheard of. And I think that it was probably maybe one of the only ships that really had something like that, because even ships since then, they really haven't had that type of luxurious feel to it. Even though, like on Star Trek Discovery and stuff, like they've made the ships like just as big as a Galaxy class, which I don't agree with. I think that they should have kept them the size scale like they had with the original series with the Constitution class. Constitution class was the standard, and they should have just kept it the same size. But that's just kind of how it is with Hollywood these days. They gotta blow everything over the top to make it grandiose to compensate for poor writing. And not that every episode of Discovery was poor writing, but I think a lot of people would agree is that it's not your typical Star Trek. But that's okay. I would be a hypocrite if I said that I needed them to change stuff on Discovery just to make me happy, because even growing up myself, I had The Next Generation, I had Deep Space Nine, I had Voyager, and then eventually, after those shows ended, we had Enterprise. So there was a lot of variety there, for a lot of different types of people. And that is the one thing that I can at least appreciate about Discovery, is that at least they're doing something for different types of people. Now, with that being said, I think that it's important to, acknowledge your fan base and your long-lasting fans, not so much the new fans. Because that's kind of how I look at Discovery. Discovery is more for, your newer Star Trek fans. But I'll be honest, I've talked to people that have been lifelong Star Trek fans and like Discovery. I'm hoping that when Strange New Worlds comes out, that that show's written for more of the old school Star Trek fans. And you know what? I think that if you write great classic Star Trek, you can still get new fans with that, because Star Trek is a story that's timeless. The message never gets old. It never does. Whether it's in the 60s, the 2020s, or going forward, I think that Star Trek will always be relevant. So I'm hoping that we'll get some more classic Star Trek. I was also talking more about some of the stuff they have going on with Star Trek. I actually got a couple of things to talk about today, which is cool. I guess Paramount, they're working on a new Star Trek movie, but I think it got pushed back to 2023, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually perfectly fine with it. I was talking to some people online about. They're like, oh no, they just need to get this thing out. And you know what? I don't agree. I think quality over quantity any day of the week. If they need to take 7 to 8 years in between the Star Trek movies, take 7 or 8 years. Wait until you've got a great story to tell, and then tell that movie, as opposed to just rushing them out the door. I think that was one of my gripes that I had with the Kelvin timeline movies, is that the movies were so rushed, and you could feel it watching it. Like I literally, like when I watch any of the three Kelvin timeline movies, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster, and they don't give you time to process or marinate on anything really. And with that being said, I still actually really like those movies. I wish that I wish that they would take their time more with these things and get off the whole roller coaster amusement park way of making these movies. But I am hoping that when this new Star Trek movie comes out, I'm hoping that it includes the Kelvin timeline crew, because I think that there was a lot more that they can do with that crew. And I think it would be a shame if they moved on from it and did something different. But we'll see. I do want to talk about here on this top deck that we have right here. You can see that I'm only going up right below the gray foundation strut, and the reason for that is because we can't delete that. So you want to make a point that you're adding in these walls, that you're not building up to the same height as that foundation strut. And the next time we look up at it, I will pause it so you can see exactly what I mean, just so you know where to stop yourselves. But that area will be impeding. Yeah, see, this row right here, we're going to be stopping just one shy of that, because that's going into the next level, and we just don't need to be building on that. All right, we're looking pretty good so far. No, but you know, it's definitely a good time to be a Star Trek fan right now. They got a lot of cool Star Trek content that's out. You know, Star Trek Online still rolling, but there's some more things I wish that they could do with Star Trek Online to maybe make that the game a little bit better. But we'll get into that more, I guess. But talking about what we got going on here, you can see that I'm going off my corners here, and I'm shaving them away just a little bit to help with the area that we're going to have to walk with. So we're going off the very first cut line, and we're taking off that first block. That feels just a little bit tight right there. So I want to make sure that we're doing the same thing for both decks. All right, and we just got to do on the other side. And this whole area may not make that much sense to you at the moment, but I'm telling you it will when we start adding in the facades. Now we're going to go in, we're going to take away this row that that's directly above and one in from the glass windows, and we're going to be replacing this with half slabs. And the reason I'm doing this is to just free up some area in this area in the ship here, to kind of make it feel a little bit bigger than it is. There's little things that you can do like this to help free up some space, and you see, just by getting rid of this row, it's going to make this area feel just a little bit bigger. And yeah, there's a gap, but when we come in with half slabs and fill that in, it'll look a lot better. Okay, I just got to do this side. I need to get rid of this row also, because that's how I had on both sides. We'll address that in a little while, because we're going to reblend that corner there as the the bridge corridor meets that section of the mall. We'll rework that area. But this just ties right into, you know, sometimes you got to have something down to see what works and to see where you need to make slight adjustments. And we need to do the same thing on this side, and then we'll be in good shape, and then we can come back with the half slabs. Oh, I deleted a half slab right there. I gotta fix that. Right there. There we go. Yeah, now this will be, I'm actually getting kind of excited now, because now this whole area of the ship, now it's really, not just with this what we're doing right now, but everything that we'll be doing now going forward. This area of the ship is really going to start transforming and looking a lot more beautiful, because right now it's still really in such a raw state, because we really just have the main frame of it put up. Now it's where all the detailing is going to come in. This is, again, just goes right back into take your time with what you're doing. Focus on the details, focus on what works, and think of ways that you can incorporate into your ship to make it blend in a little bit better. And then, of course, making the ship flow room to room and making it feel like one cohesive ship, which is going to be something that we'll be doing. I don't think we'll have enough time to get into it today, but we will be getting into that on this section of the ship as well. Okay. I think we just have to do the deck below us now with the half slabs. How are we doing on time? We're actually, I can't believe we shot through 21 minutes. Doesn't feel like it. It only felt like I was recording for the past 10 minutes. All right, we've got, after this, just one more side to do, and I think that's going to wrap us up today. Again, I'm just taking my time, making sure that everything matches up with what I'm doing on all four sides. Okay. Yeah, see, that really frees up the space a lot more there, and what we'll do here is we'll just fill this in with a single block. So we'll be going back by 2 now. We'll have to fix the floor because there's a single block of white concrete there and here, but we'll fix that later on. See, now we've got plenty of space here. We can do our lighting for our ceiling. And now we've got a great idea of what type of room we have to work with. And now it's just a matter of figuring out exactly where we want to do that, if we want to have our shops on the inside wall here, which I think is probably what we're going to do. I was going to have them on the outside, but I think I might ultimately have them going along the walls here, along the straightaway corridors. This is looking pretty good. We're finally getting this area together just a little bit more. gonna have to go down to the deck directly below us and do that same process what we did right there. But I don't think we'll have enough time to hit that today. But I think that's going to wrap us up. We've gotten a decent amount of work done, and this area is finally starting to come together little by little. And she's starting to get some nice detailing in. Definitely like how this area is coming along. But I think that's going to wrap us up today. And I just want to thank you all again for tuning in today's episode. And of course, don't forget to check out my new videos dropping Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern. And of course, don't forget to join my Discord channel. That's brand new, and I'll have a link in the description below. Got a lot of cool things going on my Discord channel. And if you don't have Discord, you can sign up for it for free. You just have to make an account, and you can join off my link, and you can join in with the community that I'm trying to build on Minecraft here. I think that'll be pretty cool. What else? Oh, if you have any questions regarding today's episode, or just dropping by to say hey, or um, have any suggestions on ships you want to see me build, be sure to drop a comment below or let me know in Discord. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me today. I hope everybody has a happy and safe weekend. And of course, what did you make in Minecraft today? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in Discord. Have a great weekend.